Guys, I'm back just to show you this altered envelope that you could use for a small insert into a journal. If you cut wider gussets on it, you could use it for, a photo album or just as a card or gift for, a friend. Okay, so see my ripped envelope? You can use a regular gift envelope that you got given to you. Steam it open. I was a little impatient this first one I tried, and so I got busy and I tore the paper instead. So a few things I learned about steaming envelopes. The first thing is get your pot and put the lid most of the way on, so a little tiny crack there. Hold your envelope over the steam that's coming out there once it starts to boil, and hopefully holding it with tongs or tweezers because you don't want to scald your hands. And it will soften up the glue, and you can gently peel them apart if you do that. So you can use your envelope punch board. You can use these guys. If you steam one open, you can trace around the different size envelopes and onto a sheet of cardboard, and then use that as a template to cut some if you don't happen to have an envelope punch board. So there's lots of ways you can do it. The one I'm going to do today, or show you today, I'm actually using I printed on a full-size sheet of paper on 65-pound cardstock, so it's not really heavy, and it's just smooth cardstock. I think I got it at Staples. This is a DigiKit from Artie Maze. So I just printed up an envelope, but the same principles apply to whichever kind of envelope you're using. So the first thing I did was I just cut this one out. The side flaps, you'll notice, are about a ½ inch. If you wanted to make them wider, just leave the plain paper. It's all going to get covered up, and that will just give you a little bit more support on your things. But if you have a moment like I did earlier today, it doesn't matter if it's cut off kind of short, you can still fix it and make use of it. So one of the first things that you're going to do once you've got whatever envelope it is, any variety of them that you're planning on using, you're going to want to make little gussets, which allows expand room for all the different parts you're going to put in there. So the first one I'm going to do is right on the fold crease of, if you've got a commercially made envelope, it's going to be on the crease. If it's one of these guys, just follow along the crease there. And then you're going to go out 1/8 of an inch and crease again. Okay? And then you're going to flip it around, and you're going to do it again on the other side. And so just line it up. That's why I always put these black lines on here so I can see them better. And you're going to, crease there. And then you're going out 1/8 of an inch, and you're creasing again. And all these are doing is just making a little bit of expandy room for what we're going to put inside your envelope. And again, we're going to do it on this bottom one. I hope I'm still in the frame. On here. Right. I think I'm seeing right. So we're doing one there, and then we're going out 1/8 of an inch. If you want to use heavier cardstock, or you making these for something just separate, not to go stick in a journal, you could make these like a 1/4 inch or a ½ inch, which would allow you a lot more space to expand if you wanted to make it like a little mini photo album, or have more room if it's a gift for somebody. So we've got all those. I don't usually bother other than just putting the crease at the top. For some reason, this top flap seems to fold over just fine and cover it, so I don't really worry about this one quite so much, but I am going to mark it off. The trouble of working on an angle you're not used to, it's kind of hit and miss. Okay, so that would be the first thing, and then you're going to fold it on your on the two lines that you've made there. So the first one, and then the second one is going to fold in, and you're on that second one there. Okay, so that makes this little tiny 1/8 of an inch expanding room. Can you see that? Right? Hopefully you got it straight. It's a little trickier when you're working at angles you're not used to. And you're going to do that on all 3 sides. So fold, crease, fold, crease. This is not my normal bone folder either, but I can tell you it's lost upstairs somewhere in the mess that I call my craft room, and I couldn't find it, and I wanted to get this thing done. So I'm just making do with whatever, but it's if you got your bone folder, it's really good to use your bone folder. Okay. Oh dear. Someday I'm going to get out there and clean that thing. It's just awful. I'm going to tell you right now. I can't find a thing. Okay, and then we're creasing again. Okay, so that's what you got. And we'll go around and we'll just do this top one. So on all 3 sides, you get this little, it's like a chocolate bar, little 1/8 inch of a space there. Okay, so moving on. I have this one partly ready to go. So, and you might notice a different kind of color. This is on inkjet printer, and you can see how the colors are different from the ones that are done on a laser printer. Okay, so the next thing that you're going to do is, remember our little tiny flaps here? I cut some extra pieces. Where are they hiding? I cut some extra pieces out of the next sheet of this DigiKit. And I made 2 pieces that are wide enough to fit on these flaps here. So you know, I'm not a real big measuring girl. I just kind of stick them on here like this and mark them with a pencil and cut them that size. And I'm not going to give you sizes because they're going to vary so much from envelope to envelope. It's really up to you to just measure it and figure out how it goes. So that's what I did to start with. I cut 2 pieces, one here, and I cut the other one here. Can you see what it's going to do pretty soon? And then I had some leftover bits, and what I did was I cut, again, 2 just pieces that fit this size of the leftover scraps, and I glued them on. So this is why you're not really worried about whether you have lots of paper here or not too much, okay? It's going to get covered up on here. If you are using a paper envelope like this one, the cardstock is too heavy to go in it. So if you are using that and you're cutting these flaps down to this size, the ones that I make out of this, I use recipe cards. It's a bit lighter than this, and it goes better with this kind of paper, so it's not too heavy, or they hang better because they're not as heavy, the pieces. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is fold our flaps in like that, and you are going to just go around and hope for the best here. So on this, I want to run, you're going to leave this one open. So I want to run along. Now, this is always interesting, isn't it? Because my glue is just forever giving me grief. I always end up with way too much when I'm working on it myself, and I never have it to work properly when I'm when I'm photographing. Oh well, it's just the way it goes. You just kind of bear with it and do your thing. So that one, make sure you're going up. And so when I fold it over and it's facing this way, yeah, this is the upside. So I'm going to stick this against the little gusset edge that I made there, that 1/8 of an inch. And see, I'm going to get too much glue, but I'm going to rub it out of there. Okay, and you're going to glue it on and move it just so it's sitting nicely. Okay, and let it have a couple minutes to set. If you have any edge hanging over when you're finished, you can always trim it with a bit of scissors. Like I said, I'm not much of a measuring girl, so I don't worry excessively. You can always fix stuff with paper. Okay, so that's the first one. And then on this one, we're going to do the same thing. So we're going to go down this gusset edge. Again. And we're going to go up this side. Hopefully not where I stuck that. And again, down this side, like this. All right. So this one is coming in this way. I can see that. And I want to put it that way. And I want to be right on the gusset edge. So, and you can see I've already inked most of these edges, right, guys? I didn't want to waste time making you watch me ink stuff. It really is boring, and who cares? Okay, you all know how to ink. I'm not worried about that. Okay, so then these fold over like this. And what I did do is I have a really beautiful handwritten, very vintage. It's out of the 1930s postcard back. And I photocopied that on my printer, and I have inked and glued it on there. And that's going to be the fold up flap. And then this one's going to come over this way. See how cool that is? So I will say, if you happen to want to put magnets in under here, now before you glue them on would be a good plan. And then the magnet would catch it there. If you want to put ribbons underneath here and under this card, you can do that. And then it ties with a ribbon at the bottom. Unfortunately, I glued them all, so I'll have to go for plan B when I get there. Okay, so the one cool thing about doing this way is you can use these pockets that you've created for tags to go in there. And you can put some little, little goodies. You can also stick photos in them, but there they are. And then I have cut the pieces to go here. And you do have to just make sure that you are inside the gussets on here, right? So inside that 1/8 of an inch, and this one's going to go on here, and this one is going to go here, upside down, like that. And then the last piece, I just put my photocopied paper. It's left over from what I used. Sorry, I hit that. What I used to line these ones. And I just put it on the paper like this, trace around it with my pencil, cut it out, and that's going to stick on there. Okay. Now I did these pieces, that all of these ones that covered the cardboard, and these ones, they are all just photocopy paper. That's pretty lightweight, and I will honestly tell you, if you use a really wet glue like tacky glue, you are going to end up with lumpy, bumpy paper. So when you get to this point, I would be using something like Collall glue that is alcohol solvent based. It doesn't soak into the paper. I think Tombow is another one, although I've never used that one. I sometimes use Aleene's Tacky Spray. I really like that one. It's mostly sticks quite well. And then what you end up with is this lovely little thing that you can put into your journals. And it's narrow enough to fit in there and just be an insert. Okay? So when you've got them, they do look different, and all the different size cards will make them different. They'll look different. This was the first one that I did. This is actually out of a envelope card. Somebody gave us an anniversary card. And again, DigiPaper, I'd have to think about where I've gotten that one from. And I just put a little bit of lace trim on it. This flips, and you can see if you stick the ribbons in underneath things, it will tie up quite nicely. You open it up. This was on a blue envelope, and I, just did them this way. And so they open up, and again, you end up with all this nice space. You can stick photos in on here. You can stick photos here. You can write. It's just a really nice little place to stick things that maybe you don't want everybody going in to look at, and yet, it looks nice in your journals. Okay, I hope you can make use of this. Thanks for watching. Bye.